and welcome to another episode on Catholic Faith Forum. I am Nonso and today we'll be discussing a rather peculiar but sad topic that in this climb, a lot of people just sweep it under the carpet, and then for some others they just over spiritualize this thing and think it's not really serious, but it is serious, and that's what we'll be discussing today. When we come back from the short break, I'll introduce the topic and my guest to you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is Catholic Faith Forum and I'm Nonso Igwe. Today we'll be discussing the dangers of self-harm. Yes, you heard me correctly, self-harm. And I have here with me today Chekwube Uchea. She's a lot of things. I just told her. Yes, you're a lot of things, from HR to a writer to a social entrepreneur to a black. Are you a teacher as well?
No, I'm not a teacher.
And she's also an advocate for mental health. So how has this journey been for you so far, especially in the mental health space, seeing that we're talking about self-harm?
Okay, so first of all, initially I didn't know what mental health was. It was when I was working at a company, and a friend of mine, an HR colleague of mine, introduced me to the word mental health, and she told me about Mentally Aware Nigeria and how I can volunteer. And so I decided to volunteer with Mentally Aware Nigeria, and from there I started learning about mental health. So when I learned so much about mental health, I knew that it was an important discussion. I knew that so many people need to really learn so much about mental health. And since then, I started taking it personally. I started taking it seriously. And I started learning about mental health and also discussing and telling people, making people aware about the importance of taking good care of their mental health. Okay,
back to the topic for discussion today. What is self-harm to you? I know in this, I've heard of people, I see online, how people just come and say, oh, I hurt myself just to feel good or to do. So what is self-harm to you?
Okay, so for me, self-harm is an act of hurting oneself. And most people do that because they feel like, that's the only way out of their situation. So many people are going through so many traumatic experiences. So many people are going through, past challenges. And the only way they can actually get out of this challenge is to self-harm themselves. Unfortunately, this is not the way out
at all.
But that's what they know.
Imagine inflicting pain on yourself to get out of a situation. Your situation is ordinarily painful, and then you're putting more pain. I don't know. So what are some other self-harm? I mean, what are some things that people can do to themselves that is considered as self-harm?
Okay, see, I find people cutting themselves, some on their wrists.
Yeah,
some people hit themselves, let's say, on the wall.
Why?
They can't help it. So it's not like they really want to do these things to themselves. But the problem is, that particular period of time, they're trying to, forget about the emotional trauma they are going through at that particular period of time.
So when you say like they're not aware or they don't want to do it to themselves, it makes it look like what a lot of people think here, that they are possessed or they are under one kind of evil control or something. So are we then saying that there are some factors? So we're saying that there are some factors associated with self-harm. Are you trying to say that it could be spiritual as well? So I don't know. In this part of the world, we attribute everything to spirituality. Exactly.
So I don't think it's spiritual. I just feel it's, just a way of, people use it as a form of, getting ahead of what they're going through at a particular period of time.
Okay.
So it's not spiritual. So you find people withdrawing from other people. People are not talking. You just see people isolating themselves. You see people, maybe people have low self-esteem. You need to watch out for those those
kinds of people.
Exactly. So sometimes, I'm not saying everybody who withdraws themselves or everybody who, keeps to themselves, is actually self-harming themselves. But these are symptoms that we need to really look out for. Okay,
so is the aim of self-harm, you think is self-harm rather, do you think it's to commit suicide? Because I know that when you inflict pain on yourself, it might lead to death. So do you think people do it because they want to die or because they want to commit suicide? It's still the same thing anyway.
Well, I know so many people, associate suicide with self-harm. So in most cases, people who self-harm don't have the intention of committing suicide. But we need to be careful. If a person keeps self-harming, there's a likelihood that the person might commit suicide eventually, you know. So at the initial state, that's not their main motive. They just want to, you know, get past that emotional trauma they are facing at a certain period of time, you know, because that's the only way they know how to, you know, get past that challenge.
Okay. Let's go on the short break. When we come back, we'll talk more on this topic. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Catholic Faith Firm, and I'm Nonso Igwe. And today we're talking about self-harm, and I'm doing that with Chekwube in the studio with me today. So you talked about how self-harm can drive people to eventually committing suicide. Yeah. So what do you think drives people, from the first point, to actually commit self-harm? What are the things that can make people want to do that to themselves? Okay,
first of all, I'd like to say that life is hard.
Yeah, being in Nigeria is even harder.
Yeah, so many people don't know how to express the way they feel inside. Okay. So I'm feeling a certain kind of emotion and I don't know how to express it. So some people, the way they can express that emotion, as the hurt they feel, is by self-harming themselves. Some people cry, like for example, me, when I'm feeling a certain way, you know, I just cry. And people asking me, what's wrong with you? What exactly is wrong with you? I can't even say what's wrong with me, but I'm just crying. So some people self-harm. You see them cutting themselves, cutting their wrists, cutting their laps, you know, cutting different parts of their body. That's the way they can express what they're feeling inside.
What do you think is, I know you talked about how some people don't want to talk about it. And then some people, don't you think some people are even afraid to speak up? Because when you talk in this time and age, people will just ordinarily condemn you or say stuff to you that you don't even imagine. You've never imagined that you start hearing people saying all those kind of things to you. So do you marvel at the number of people who actually commit self-harm every day, because the numbers are rising? The more we talk about it, the more people actually engage in it. So what do you think the problem is?
So I think, you know, we are not really talking about this. So to me, I feel there's not so much publicity about self-harm. A lot of people don't really know about. Some people might be self-harming themselves. They don't even know that they are self-harming themselves. They don't really know about this thing. So I feel if there are a lot of publicity, you know, because I feel that, you know, self-harm happens more between young people, amongst young people. So young adults, adolescents. So if we can, you know, find a way of talking about this, you know, enlightening people about self-harm, I feel they'll be able to, you know, learn more about it and prevent it.
And I think most people also relate to you when you've actually gone through it.
Yeah.
But we're in this place where a lot of people are very secretive. Nobody wants to be seen as the weaker person, or, oh, this girl is hurting herself. Are you sure she's not possessed? So people will not want to talk about it. And then I know, like, someone like you that does, that talks to people about giving awareness about mental health and all that. So you people can keep helping us educate the public on self-harm and how not to harm themselves. So you talk about signs, you talk about withdrawal symptoms. So what are some other signs we can see in people who are actually engaging in self-harm, apart from the visible marks we can see on their body?
So yes, I also spoke about keeping to oneself. So you see somebody not talking, you see somebody, you know, things that they normally love to do, they're not doing it again.
Interested in it
they're
anymore.
Not interested in it anymore. Some people, you know, maybe they've had emotional issues. They just decide to withdraw because they don't know how best to manage maybe a breakup and all that. You just see people just, you know, withdrawing. And one thing I've learned again is that so many people don't know how to listen. We can be very, very judgmental. So somebody comes to you and say, oh, I'm going through this certain thing, you know, I'm struggling with this. And in your mind, you're just judging the person. So that kind of person will never come to meet you again for anything. But if somebody comes to you and say, oh, I'm struggling with this thing, and even though you don't have the, you know, the solution to the problem, you just show that support. Or I might not exactly understand what you're going through, but just know that I'm here for you. If you need to talk, I'm here for you. You can call me any time of the day. I'm here for you. You know, just show that support. Don't judge anybody.
And I think we also like to even have that trophy of Nami suffer pass in this country. So the moment you go and meet someone and this is what's happening, your own, that just that small thing, you should hear about my own. My own is like, so they will tell you that, oh, they are suffering more than you are suffering. And that's a problem in Nigeria.
That's dismissing people's feelings. That's just a very wrong thing.
Very bad. I really like your spirit. Keep it. We'll go on this short break again. When we come back, we'll talk more on self-harm. Stay with us. Welcome back, and we're still talking about self-harm, and I'm here with Chekwube. So is it in all cases that, I mean, when people when they harm themselves, is it in all cases that they have mental issues? Or because I know sometimes, let me use my own example now, long as I'm harming myself, but I have some injuries that are very, I don't know, like, you are judging me already.
No, I'm not judging
This is the
you.
problem.
No, I'm
okay,
not
so now I have some injuries on my body, and I just want to pick out, like, am I self-harming myself? Or I'm just trivializing the whole issue?
So that's why I said some people don't even know that they are self-harming themselves.
Okay.
So to you might just, it's your body and you feel you have control over your body. But some people don't even know that they're self-harming themselves. So there's something I used to do. I usually pick my hair. And I didn't even know that's self-harm.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
I was reading about it and I was like, oh, even when you pick your hair.
Like you pluck it out of
like
the
you
roots.
pluck it out.
Really?
Like I have natural hair. So when I don't make the hair, I just, I'm just plucking it out. And I never knew that self-harm.
Okay, does it come when you're nervous, or is it anxiety or something?
No, so I can just be seated, and if I don't make my hair, I just leave my natural hair. I just pick my hair. I didn't know that that's self-harm.
Wow.
So now I'm going to be conscious about it, and I'll stop doing it. So a lot of people don't even know that they're actually self-harming themselves. So they need to be enlightened.
Yes, they do. So who is more likely, or who is most likely to harm themselves?
So like I said earlier, young people, adolescents, these people are at age where, a lot of emotions running, so they really need guidance. So young people, adolescents. But then again, people can self-harm at any, because we really don't know the cause of these things. You just find yourself self-harming yourself. So
wow.
At any point in time, you can find yourself self-harming yourself.
But for the longest time, I never thought it was a Nigerian thing or a Nigerian problem. But I've been seeing a lot of young Nigerians, they come online and talk about how they've been hurting themselves, using the blade. I don't even like needle or anything touching my body. And when I think about people who actually hurt themselves, and I wonder the kind of space they are in their mind, that they feel that thing is the only thing to do, and they don't feel any hurt. So how do you think we can help these people when you notice that, oh, this person is likely to hurt themselves? How can you help this person? Is it just by talking? Because I know it doesn't really help.
No, talking helps.
Really?
A lot, yes.
Okay.
So you know what therapy means? Therapy is talking. So when people advise you, go and see a therapist. The therapist is just going to ask you questions that will make you talk. Okay. So that's therapy, talking, for you to feel comfortable, just, onboarding, like saying everything that is inside of you that you've been keeping inside for a very long time. So therapy helps. But one thing I would like to also say is parents have a lot of work to do. So because I mentioned earlier that this self-harming happens mostly adolescents, young adults. Yes. So as a parent, you have a huge role to play in your child's life. So I don't know about nowadays, but I know during my time, it was really hard to speak to my dad or my mom about certain things. Do you understand? But I I have younger ones, and it's intentional. I ensure that they can come to me and talk to me about anything. Because when you create that forum, when you create that platform for a young adult, a young adolescent around you to just come to you and talk to you about certain things, these are things they will just come to you, oh, I'm doing this to myself. What, is this right? Am I supposed to be doing this? But if the person doesn't feel comfortable talking to you, then that's an issue. So parents have a lot of work to do. Then also in different other organizations like, churches, schools, we need to also talk about this thing, create awareness, talk about these things. I don't know why people are, scared of talking about mental health. It's a big issue. So many people just talk about physical health, say go to see the doctor. But what of mental health? You need to see the therapist, psychotherapist. And like I said, therapy is just basically talking about things that bother you, things that you can't discuss with your parents.
Mind, Now, when you talk about self-harm, I know that there are some children that throw tantrums a lot. And then for some, you spoke about hitting your head or hitting your body on the wall or something. What if I see a child, like a baby, hitting their head on the wall? Can that be self-harm too? Because basically they don't even know what they're doing. But can that not grow up with them, and then it moves into something else when they grow up as adults as well? So how can you correct a child at that point in time, since we're trying to curb self-harm?
So when you say a child, like how old?
Like I've seen some 2-year-old, 1-year-old throwing tantrums, scratching their legs and hitting their head on the wall. And I'm like,
So I think
How?
So socialization starts from the home.
Yes.
And the way you socialize a child will depend on how the child is going to grow up. So at that age, you need to start correcting the child, telling the child, no, you shouldn't hit your head on the wall, you shouldn't do this. And explain to the child why. So sometimes we feel, oh, this child is small. He or she will not understand. But just say it. The child would understand. And keep saying it until the child keeps growing.
Nicely said. So what are there treatments for self-harm?
Yes, there are treatments, but before I go to treatments, I would like to also talk about the issue of bullying. So bullying in school is a major problem. I was bullied in school, so I know how that affected me and still affects me to date. And so I don't know, I don't think I self-harmed myself, but I knew that I withdrew.
Okay.
I was extremely reserved. So I wasn't talking to people. Imagine your classmates bullying you.
Your classmates?
Yes, my secondary school, junior secondary school. Funny enough, I remember their faces, their names till date.
And you see them till
many years ago. No, I don't see them. But I still remember their faces and their names. So bullying is another thing that can make young people, you know, just start self-harming themselves. Because at that age, like I said, that's an age where, you know, people are trying to understand so many things. So don't bully anybody. Don't body shame people. You see people harassing you, oh, your head looks like this, your eyes look like this. You know, people that have, what they call that?
Eyes.
Yeah, so these things hurt people deeply. Do you understand? So these are things we need to, you know, stop doing. Then, so the treatments, like I said, you need to, first of all, you know, show support and refer the person to a mental health professional. You know, just let them assess the person. If the person needs drugs, it's easier for the professional to, you know, prescribe these drugs. You know, see a mental health, you know, professional. Then another thing is, you know, there's drugs for depression, there are drugs for anxiety. So if after the person has been assessed, they might say, oh, this person might be anxious, this person might be depressed. So, you know, they give drugs. There are drugs that people take for those kind of things. Then one other thing is also, you know, being in the midst of loved ones, people that, you know, genuinely care for you. Those things are very key.
I like that word, you know, because they genuinely care for you.
Genuinely care for you. So it's important to have a support system, people that you can easily talk to when you feel a certain way. So like I said, for me, when I feel a certain way, there are people that I talk to. There are friends that I just open up to. And if I don't have those kind of people, maybe I'll be self-harming myself, doing other things. So
I really like it. And I love what you said about bullying. But one thing I also wanted to state here is, I know that it happens within, secondary school, adolescents, and all that. But still, that's the age when they are very insensitive the most. And some of them don't even realize that they are bullying you, or what they're saying to you is bad or hurtful. And then some people regret after they've grown. So I always think that I think that the schools have a big role to play in educating these children so that they don't bully their classmates or their younger ones. Thank you so much, Chekwube, for being on this show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I did.
So thank you so much for sticking with us to the end. We're not going anywhere until we meet with the Know Your Faith team. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Know Your Faith series. My name is Judith, and today we'll be talking about overcoming fear and discouragement. At some point, we have all been discouraged or had fears about doing what is right, and that's fine because we are humans. But God commands us in Joshua chapter 1 verse 9 to be strong and courageous, for he is always with us. In Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, God encourages Joshua to meditate on the book of the law day and night, so as to act in accordance with what is written in it. This encouragement is not just for Joshua alone. It is for all of us who believe in God. And we know that if you believe in God and you trust him, you will not have any issues taking over whatever challenges that comes your way. Some ways you can actually do this is to stay encouraged, and that's by trusting God, like I said, on what he has commanded us to do. When you feel discouragement creeping in, fight it with the word of God, and also talk to people of like faith. That can also boost you sometimes. The second point will be, remember that God cannot give you what you cannot handle. Whatever he commands you to do, ask him to give you the grace to carry on, because trust me, his grace is always sufficient. The third one is, be strong and courageous. This statement, be strong and courageous, this statement appears about 5 times just in the first chapter of Joshua, and it signifies something. So you should always feel relaxed to go back to God and ask him for the strength to be courageous, to be strong, to handle whatever situation it is. Because really, it is the reassurance God has given us. We can only be strong and courageous if we depend on him to be with us through our struggle. And this can happen because we know and have a good relationship with him. I would like to know how you handle fear and discouragement in the comment section. Please remember to drop a comment and share with your friends. Until next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Welcome back. Thank you so much, team, for that. Thank you once more, Chekwube, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much for watching till the end of the show. You can get this episode and other episodes on our YouTube channel at Dominican Media Present. Also, don't forget to join our conversation on Tuesday on Instagram at CFF on TV by 7 p.m. with the hashtag CFF chatroom. By 7 p.m. with the hashtag CFF chatroom. Also, to keep supporting our content, make sure you reach out to us with the number shown on your screen below. Also, contact us via mail at opmediang@gmail.com. At opmediang@gmail.com. And we'll definitely get back to you. Till we come your way next time. Keep being saints in jeans and shirts. Bye.